Je m'appelle Patrice Loubon, je suis le directeur artistique de l'association NECPOS, je m'occupe de la programmation d'exposition. Chaque année, nous avons une programmation qui se distingue, je dirais, par deux gros groupes d'expositions, les rencontres Images et Villes et le printemps photographique, qui se tient, comme son nom ne l'indique pas, en hiver. Mais printemps, pour moi, ça veut dire aussi, je dirais, ça veut parler de l'émergence. Donc ça veut parler de quelque chose qui n'est pas non plus forcément connu et attendu et qui tout d'un coup se dévoile, apparaît. Et là en l'occurrence donc cette année, grâce à Nontsikelelo Veleko, nous avons formé cette année donc la première je pense programmation de cette ampleur en France de photographes sud-africains.
Every year, Gallery NECPOS has an exhibition called Printemps. So this year it was South Africa. I had to put together all of these photographers, and I came up with a theme called Resist.
1, 2, 3.
For me, what is interesting in how we look at photography today is that there's a lot of understanding that photographing self is an act of belonging, an act of making self visible. But it also is an act of excluding others. And I think that there needs to be always a very good balance within that.
If one goes back to the time of colonialism, photography was used in many ways as a way to kind of describe race, and through race it was as a way to describe the inferiority of race. So in South Africa, black people were restricted to certain areas within South Africa, and they only had the right to be in that particular area with a passbook, and the picture on their passbook in many ways determined what race they were. So if very dark pictures, it meant that they were black, and very light pictures, they were light. And in some cases that was used to determine to which schools people go to which areas they could use.
There were photographers before, like Cedric Nunn, who is in this show, who worked to show the face of apartheid because it had no face, but it was something that was implemented and that was forced onto people. And his work is really just looking at his family.
People who were mixed were very different culturally from one part of the country to another. So there was no similarity really. So I made a decision at some point to look at my family. So there is a clan of people that I'm related to, because I had a great-grandfather who was a white man, but he became a Zulu chief, and he ended up having almost 50 wives and over 100 children. I sometimes thought I was betraying them in a way because I was exposing my family. When I decided to become a photographer, nobody knew what I was becoming. They were confused because they said, "Oh, so you're going to be taking all the wedding photographs?" And I said, "No, not that kind of photography." And they didn't understand that there was another kind of photography. It was not a job. So I started this project in maybe 1983. It was about identity. And it was about being classified as a mixed race person, and with the term that they gave to that called colored. So we were resisting this classification that we knew was about separating us and dividing us so that we could be ruled more easily.
You're so serious. I'm serious. I'm more serious than you. I've never seen you super serious.
But wait, where was this shot?
I worked on this project for
for about 15 years or more on this Bridges project. And sometimes I will, like in Ngome, maybe I've been going there for over 5 years as well.
Doing this work for like 15 years, what did it do for you as a person, perhaps coming from that place of apartheid and not seeing?
I grew up in a Christian household, with Christian, with Catholic as well. But also photography gave me opportunity also to embrace my other side, cultural side, my Africanness, my way of talking to my ancestors, worshipping them and so forth. It wasn't for photography, maybe that side of me would have been forgotten. Through photography, I understand myself better and understand my role as a father, as an uncle, as a friend as well, and above all, I understand who I am, the world as an African. What I wanted to say through this image is that I can say that, yes, of course, there were violence that was happening within my communities and other communities in South Africa as well. But at the same time, it was not only violence. In life, if you want, it was also normal. People were going to church, people were going to shebings, people were making love, people were going to parks and so forth. So these are things that are quieter moments of life that I wanted to photograph. Not to be healed, but just to say that there's another view as well.
Photography was used as a principal tool in the process of struggle, of emancipation, of the liberation. Previously, it was also very much used as a tool of oppression. And I think at the moment, it's very much a tool for new identities, for people redefining themselves, playing with the imaginary. And I think that makes photography very vibrant and interactive in South Africa.
When I studied photography, my interest was to tell the other side, not just this one side that was there. So I understood there was the historical apartheid struggle, but also there was something else, and those were the voices that were missing. If you again come from a country that's been telling you who you are, you're also going to question sexual politics. So it could be resistance of the body, how the body is viewed. And it's an international thing. It's not just specifically to South Africa. So they would talk about the nude, for instance. And all of a sudden lately, the world kind of want to be in denial of the nude body as an artwork.
I was in my 40s. And so when you're a woman and you're in your 40s, you feel slightly different about your body. Then I was living in London at the time, and in the Old Street tube station, there was an advertisement of ordinary women in white underwear with ordinary bodies. It wasn't retouched. It was women with lumps and bumps, and it was amazing because you never see that in advertising. And then I heard a BBC radio interview which said to me that in South Africa, more and more young black women want to be thin. And so I thought it's a good idea to do a project looking at real beauty. I love doing portraits because it's a collaboration. So you're working with the person. I sort of want to move the person into a position of not posing for the camera, but allowing who they are to come out.
The issue of identity is to show multiplicity, is to show that these things are not that easy to define. And I think part of that was also to define questions around gender, visual sexuality, as Zanele Moholi is expressing it. I think these voices gave a very particular way of expressing an urgency that otherwise would not be addressed.
Let me cut it short. We are friends with Zanele for back then and before she did photography. But more than anything, I ended up in this project because I'm also a black, proud lesbian who lives in South Africa. Especially in Gauteng, we have the highest number of lesbians being killed, raped, molested, and mistreated. So for me to participate, it was to say I do support the struggle or the message that she wants to send across. It's all about standing up and saying, this is who I am, or this is who we are, as Zanele is doing with the exhibition, to say, you can kill us, you can call us what sorts of names. It doesn't differentiate me from being a human being.
My series is called Gender Bender, and I guess it's exploring human beings in their duality, the male, the female, and I guess looking at the stereotypes sort of around men and having women be those stereotypes in a way, just to say women can also do that and it's okay, and who says we need to be one way or the other. Yeah. There's something very vulnerable about being naked. So once you get naked, the only way is to be strong and own that moment, your body. And for me, the women, by the way they are, there's a woman who's standing very strong like a man. That is a form of resisting. Exposing yourself and being naked in a way it's very revealing, That's also like a way of like, you're not gonna tell me not to be this way, so therefore I'm resisting, and this is how you're gonna get it. Yeah.
But within this book, then I have like 6 series. The last one is called Water is Ours. And Water is Ours is my current project that I'm still currently working on, and I'm
expanding. Still working on waters?
I'm from the inland, so I don't have the experience of the sea. And how, as human beings, we relate to the idea of water. We relate in terms of economics, in terms of leisure, in terms of business and so forth, and in spirituality as well. That as this kind of photograph talks about that and alludes into that. And this particular one is so dear to me, tribute to the ancestors of the Middle Passage. This is in New York. Community of New York, they come together and then meet around the sea and pay tribute to those ancestors who never made it to New World setting.
In the mid-90s, I had a daughter. She was maybe 10 or 11 years old or so. The children asking me, what are you? Asking her to racially define herself. And I was thinking, I had thought at that time that now that we had our democracy and we had our political freedom, that this was an issue of the past. And then suddenly I said to her, you have to tell them you're a South African. And she said, no, they want more than that. And she was having a problem because she wasn't brought up to think she was colored or whatever.
Most of the work that you see there is all influenced by different things, different social issues, different contemporary issues that are happening in South Africa. Because I think humans really are resisting change, especially in my country where it's only just been 23 years of democracy. For instance, the reason why I chose this one is it's more about the resistance of change in terms of how things are being modernized now, even the religious, because South Africans are still rooted so much into their cultures. They are still rooted mostly in their traditions, but now you get people that are starting to put in Bibles, but still believing in ancestry and all that stuff. So for me to see these people that are still believing in that system, but they are in an urban area and still dress up like that in the way that's still figured as 1960s or whatever. still complements the theme. I'm really passionate about human studies and how humans behave within a certain space and time. The best thing about photography for me is that you are able to capture this. There's no other movement happening, so that you figure it out yourself what else happened or what was happening before. Because you get people that got that small smile, you get the person, you could see the vulnerability, you could see that they're not happy at all. Those things are all based on the things that I say sometimes to kind of provoke that emotion, that feeling that you want from someone so that you can capture that facial expression from that person.
I like the idea of resisting and then resisting to be stereotyped and resisting to be pigeonholed in a box and challenging those codes. I love the whole scene in South Africa. It's kind of ahead of its time as well, and we are lucky because there are many different cultures from Zulu, Tswana, Xhosa, like Pedi, Shangaan. It's all like a little Europe, you know, everybody just smashing one culture with another and then rediscovering new things. And it's been happening for years and years, and because of the internet, people are much more aware of it. We are friends, especially Chris, whose work is behind, and he works a lot with video, documenting South Africa. It's very important to me. That's what I've been doing with my music. So here I feel very connected because they tell the story of South Africa in many different ways.
This is only my second exhibition.
Yeah.
The first one was last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's very new to me.
Mm-hmm.
I used to just take photographs and not show anyone. I don't have Instagram or Facebook and all that shit. It doesn't feel right to me, you know, to put my stuff. Even I don't like the feeling I get when I go onto Facebook, you know, or Instagram. If I put something on the internet, I don't like it. I have a Tumblr, but I'm probably going to delete it soon. So I'd rather meet people and show the work physically, like, you know. So I'm very idealist in that way, that I would like to kind of, maybe I'd like to pursue it in a traditional way, you know.
And how did you decide to show your work?
I entered the Ernest Cole Award. It's an award every second year in South Africa. I didn't win, but John was the judge, and he contacted me, and from there we started working together. He started becoming my mentor, showing me the ropes, telling me what is shit and what is not shit, and how to approach things, and he learned me quite a lot. He's very good in education, extremely well in teaching people about photography. And then this lovely lady behind you, for this exhibition, she contacted me, I think also through John, and then we got this thing going.
All of the photographers right here in this show, they all have this resistance within themselves to say we continue to speak about this, and it's all in one voice and it's all in one unity. And that's how it came about.
Les réunissants, on s'est aperçu qu'à la fois, évidemment, ils se connaissaient de nom, de réputation, mais ils n'échangeaient que très rarement entre eux. Et donc ce moment a été pour eux un moment très important dans leur vie, je dirais, de photographe et dans l'échange avec leur père. Donc ça a permis de donner une cohérence à leur action individuelle. La résistance leur est familière, leur est commune, chacun à sa manière résiste.
Et au-delà de l'Afrique du Sud, donc nos c'est un peu des résistants dans le coin.
Je crois que ouais, on est assez connus pour ça aussi depuis longtemps, et c'est vrai que la question de, je dirais, de l'art et de la culture et de la résistance à beaucoup de choses quoi, hein, qui nous entourent, fait partie de notre culture. Tous les gens qui nous rejoignent et qui nous apprécient et qui travaillent avec nous sont à un moment donné aussi des gens qui se positionnent dans cette logique de résistance et de vouloir essayer de transformer un peu les choses quoi, à notre niveau.